So the Culture House was founded in 2010, so just over 10 years ago, and really there was a mission to bring more culture to the area. I think I personally just got a passion for creativity, art and culture, and wanted to champion, local artists that are here. And so that came a bit of a mission.
I was born and brought up in Grimsby, went away to uni but then came back. I've worked a lot locally in Lincolnshire in journalism and design in Horncastle and Lincoln. I've always been quite arty, but I've always worked. And furlough was the first time that I literally was like, what am I going to do? I can't endlessly keep painting the bathroom. So I just started sketchbooking, and I think I'm up to 18 sketchbooks I've done in a year. I just ended up getting a really fat watercolour brush, making a right mess on the page and then going over it with ink, and it's really loose and it's really sketchy. I've got a chalet on the Fitters, and over lockdown I've been coming down and painting the chalets. It's just such a magic place. Every time I come down there's something new for me to paint. It's just never-ending inspiration. The sky and the sea I find quite fascinating, particularly the way that when you look out and some days the two can nearly merge into one. I've always lived kind of on the outskirts of Grimsby a little bit, either in Scather or on sort of Laceby Road. And 2 years ago I moved into proper town centre Grimsby. And so this lockdown I started doing a lot more walking around and looking at the Victorian architecture. So I've done a lot of drawings, particularly of the river, but also look at the Victorian detailing of buildings in town, because we do have, dilapidated though some of it is, amazing Victorian architecture in town. I lost my job in September and I wasn't quite sure what to do, and I thought, right, I'll try selling my artwork. And the Culture House commission that I did was for a window in Wallergate. It was the first commission I'd got. I like the idea that you love your childhood teddy bear, however tatty, bald, scruffy, whatever it looks like, you still love it. And it was just a nice project to work with over Christmas, and it was a good opportunity that I got from Charlotte and Becky at the Culture House to do it. And I think if I hadn't have got that sort of scaffolding, I probably maybe would not have got it off the ground.
Sarah as an artist I think has got a really unique approach, and she's inspired by place, whether that's Grimsby or Cleethorpes, and I think she's really observant and takes time to absorb that place and then translate it into the artwork.
I love it, it's great. It's got its problems like everywhere else, but it's also, there's lots going on, there's lots artistically going on, there's a lot of creative people, and I just think it's a really great place to live.
I've always drawn and been into tattoo culture anyway, so I started having a few, and then I thought, I'd like to have a go, and finally worked up to a point where I could get into a studio and learn a bit more. I suppose it's a form of self-expression. A lot of our clients tell us it's therapeutic. I find it painful, even though I've been an artist from as soon as I could pick up a pencil, I think, but yeah, it's took me a few years to realise it. I was born and I've lived in Grimsby all my life, really. In my younger days I used to just want to escape Grimsby, and times have changed, and with it I have, and I love Grimsby now. I don't know, it just feels more vibrant, and like there's an energy, an artistic vibe going around that I never really noticed before. Especially, more recently with working with Charlotte and Becky at Culture House.
disaster. This is my home and
So Penny created a beautiful painting which was called Smile, and it was a woman smiling, as simple as that, but it was absolutely beautiful. When she unveiled it, it really spoke to me. It was really joyous.
There's a great deal of power in a natural smile, and it's quite infectious when you see someone smiling properly. So my theory was, if I can reflect, and get people to reflect back with a smile, then my job was done.
And she's created other artwork with us on other projects. So she's done a mural in town. She's so talented. And I know she didn't come from a traditional schooled background, but she's certainly found her creative feet.
And I think a lot of artists have imposter syndrome, where they think someone's going to go, "You're not an artist." It's taken me years to call myself an artist, but I think I'm finally there, and that's come from working alongside those guys. And one thing that I would like to see happen, we can build this strong community going forward. I'd really love for that to happen. I've wanted it to happen for years. Cooperative, we all can work hand in hand and know who's good at what thing and help each other learn different skills as well, I think. Are we done?
I've always collected music since I was a baby, apparently. I didn't have the conventional teddy bear that kids have. I used to carry around 3 records and I took them everywhere. My father was a big vinyl collector and he's played in many bands growing up on the Beatles in the 60s and the 70s prog rock era, and then started hearing hip hop from the US. There was just so much music just coming, and it's just like, oh, I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that, I'll have a bit of that. In my head, I'm still raving again. I started DJing, I think, when I was about 16, 17. I've done quite a few around town. We did the pier and just little things like that. I think I started more properly when I started doing Willie's wine bar. And Bill used to just say, oh yeah, we'll bring the decks up and we'll just play and we'll have a bit of a party. And we just did that. We got to play Ministry of Sound and for Kiss FM in the early 90s, which was great. I mean, that was a big eye-opener. I mean, I tried London, didn't like it, come home. Yeah, I love it here. You got your family, your friends and stuff like that. But I think it's always been good, and I think everybody tries to help everybody out here.
And there's a real love for good music. Of people who live in the area, so whether that's jazz, funk, soul, that kind of thing. So there's quite a cool scene. My involvement with Culture House is through Charlotte. I've known Charlotte probably since about 89, 90, because she came to the same customs place as us for night dancing and club nights and stuff. I think Mark always has a really great repertoire. It's got brilliant taste in music. It's got a great reputation. So, we've been pleased to associate with him for our events, host him alongside live touring acts, and it's a really good complementary partnership, I think. I like the way that Culture House are doing it though, what they're trying to bring in, and they're always thinking of the community. I don't know where she gets her ideas from, to be fair. I really don't.
Like the clouds, I'll flow through the sky, and with each passing moment, I'll let it go by.
My name is Amy Naylor. I have grown up surrounded by music. I grew up in Grimsby. I've played music all my life, and this is kind of what I do as a job now. I've done a lot of performing live around in the local area, as well as around the UK, around Europe and Canada and America and all that kind of thing. And now I teach as well. Na, na, na. na na, yeah, na na na. My music has a lot of influences. A lot of my kind of songwritery type stuff comes from a lot of politics and local politics and global politics, kind of social relationships and that kind of thing. And a lot of my actual kind of musical influences come from my parents, growing up around them and playing in bands with them and listening to their music.
We got involved in the local acoustic scene and the folk scene and just the heritage, and we've been involved in commission to write stuff on fishing and on Havelock the Dane, the founder of the town, and things like that.
We all exist within a context, and my context is growing up in Grimsby and the heritage in Grimsby. And again, I'm very much inspired by stories, and we've got so many stories here in Grimsby. We've got, you know, all the fishing heritage and all that kind of stuff.
Give me back my world.
And I know she's been influenced by local stories and local heritage, and she's worked with Rebecca Maskell, who we sort of partnered up with a good few years ago, and I believe that they carried on a bit of a creative relationship.
I've been to a lot of Culture House events, both as just to attend, both to perform and play in different contexts.
She's been hosted here in People's Park as part of our live events programme.
By working in the events, that gave me a real insider's look, and to see lots of other musicians as well, both local and musicians that have been brought in through Culture House, has been a huge inspiration and something to aspire to, especially as a teenager when I was doing it.
And the Culture House has given her so many opportunities to be seen and get out there and grow in confidence. We've seen her grow in confidence.
Organisations like the Culture House are so important, not just for bringing arts in and for giving artists like me an opportunity to create and connect and share, but to provide a space where community can come together.
I think she's really made a lot of being in Grimsby and developed what she does, and I think she's a real asset to the area.
And I'm inspired by how we as a town have grown and kind of overcome a lot of stuff, and we've gone from this rich heritage and we're now growing into a very artistic community, I think, at least in my little happy bubble, and so that inspires me a lot as well. Like the clouds, I'll flow through the sky, and I'll act as a reflection of the beauty in your eyes, of the beauty in your eyes.
I do believe that Grimsby is really, really creative, and because of, you know, the amount of creative people that I know who are doing really good stuff, I feel that we've got a really unique take on creativity. It's been a tough mission so far, just over 10 years. It's not over, but it's got to a place. So I'm looking forward to new projects and looking for new artists to work with and seeing what we can create in stage in the town, and again supporting local artists to flourish.
Trees, I'll dance in the wind, I'll grow